Okay, can we talk about women being too afraid to like fart or whatever in front of men? He's clearly not interested. And this is actually a really important topic to me because you know how I talk about how men don't see us as human beings? One of the reasons why is we dehumanize ourselves in front of them. Now, that is partly a reaction to the way they dehumanize us, and patriarchy dehumanizes us. But I really want to talk about this. I want to tell actually, oh my God, dog hair. I want to tell a story about this with one of my ex-boyfriends who actually really helped me work through this. But before I get into that, the reason why this is super important, and I was thinking about it when I was watching Love is Blind. I hate that show, but I mean, it's perfect for talking about a lot of things I talk about. Oh, now you're interested. Anyway, and I know they're on TV, okay? Like I was on a reality TV show for anyone who doesn't know, but it's just National Geographic, so there was no hair, makeup, nothing. It was literally me like being thrown off a cliff kind of, and not thrown off a cliff, whatever, like in crazy situations to map my my brain's reaction to surviving. Little did I know that they should have been mapping it towards my survival men. But anyway, that was about the outdoors. So I know that the women are like, they're grooming themselves all the time, you know, and so I know that's because there's a camera there and they know millions are going to be watching. It got me thinking because this is what women do when there's not a camera there, right? Now, we police ourselves in front of men because we don't think that they can see us. Like it's that internalization of like the male gaze, right? And one of the things that I've become more aware of it. I didn't even know I was doing it. And I don't do it as much as like a lot of other women because I just kind of lived in the outdoors for so long, literally like years where I didn't even have access to a mirror. And now realize what a gift that was, that I didn't have access to movies or TV. So I didn't read, and I was literally working in the outdoors for years and had no mirror. So I had no idea what I looked like. And all of my confidence was based on my interactions with people, my survival skills, my ability to be a leader, being able to, climb, canoe, backpack, and, be a raft guide and all these things. So I am so grateful now that I did not internalize that male gaze more because I was just removed from it. What a gift. What a gift that was. And so then I went from that world to living in New York City where I still didn't really care about my looks enough. Where literally people were like, Melanie, you need to put some, like you not putting makeup on when you perform means no one can see your face from the back. Like it's not about like makeup. It's about people can't see you. And I was like, ugh, and I still wouldn't wear it. I like wear like Crocs on stage, like stains on my shirt, whatever. Now I've kind of moved into a place of like, I still don't wear like makeup and clearly don't do my hair. But I like to wear pretty sweaters, right? Look at that little unicorn. Whenever I see like a woman relaxing and, in her thoughts and, and so her posture just kind of melts and then she'll like, I hate catching that moment where she's like, oh, right, I'm being perceived and I let my guard down. And it's, and I've caught myself doing that. And it's such a sad, anyway. So, I've been noticing this for a long time about how much we're just, I talk about men performing masculinity all the time, right? And just performing like for the gender that they identify with. And we do it too, policing, who's looking, right? And so on Love is Blind, because there's actually cameras there, they're doing it all the time. And it's so funny because like watching them have like these conversations where like they can't even relax and really check in with their bodies and be in their feelings because they got a camera and bright lights and all this stuff and a whole crew, I'm sure, behind them. And then some of the conversations I hear them having, and I'm like, and there was that one where like that girl farted or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's right. I remember seeing a TikTok a year or so ago, and it was about how this woman was saying that someone who worked at hotels had told her that the bathrooms in the lounges or like the lobbies of hotels I don't know if they like had problems in the bathroom, but basically they were like, yeah, it's a problem. Like the women's bathroom in hotel lobbies is sometimes like, crazy because all these women will come from their hotel rooms down to the lobby to take a crap. Because God forbid men realize that we take dumps. Big old smelly dumps, diarrhea dumps, especially when we have our period dumps. And do you know, I was at the age of 39, I think, when I realized there's a reason why when we have our periods, we oftentimes have like diarrhea or whatever. That it has to do, like it's literally period dumps. No one ever told me that. I was always like, what's happening? What's happening? Like I have so little education about all this stuff still. Just found out about what the hell a pelvic floor is like a year ago or so on TikTok. I had never even heard that word. And I was like, apparently it falls out. Where does it go? Right? So women already know so little about our own bodies. And what the hell's happening? Because science doesn't seem to care unless it's about making babies. And then once making babies is done, they don't care about menopause. They don't care about any of this stuff. Anyway, one thing we are hyper aware of is what we can't be. We can't bleed. We can't fart. We can't piss. We can't do anything. Or we're not sexy, right? We're unforkable. Because we take dumps and because we fart. Meanwhile, men are a little too comfortable doing that in front of us. And then they wonder why we don't want to fork them. Right? Like, I think it's like humans do this stuff. But women are policing ourselves so much in front of men. And a lot of times men are so not thoughtful that they don't even care. They're going to smell up the whole room or like whatever. Okay? I'm making gross generalizations right now. Okay? But this performing for men, I want it to stop. And I think actually so people ask me for green flags all the time. One of my green flags became whether or not a man is comfortable with the word period blood, period sex. Like if you're not comfortable with period sex, fine, don't do it. But if a man isn't comfortable with period sex, I'm like, why is that? Do you have like something with blood or is it period blood? Because if it's period blood, I'm starting to wonder how much indoctrination in purity culture is going on in here. Because it's probably a lot. And if you can't dump in front of a man, I don't mean dump in front of him and watch you wipe your butt. But like the fact that men don't know that we're going to the bathroom and literally taking out a cup of blood and pouring it in the sink and like the brutality of dealing with periods. Like if men are completely unaware of that and you're just going to go along with pretending that you are just not like bleeding all over yourself. And if you are causing yourself to like have physical problems because you will not take a dump on that 3-day vacation with that man. Like, do you really think that man, like you are literally setting yourself up for him to dehumanize you. And the reason why I want women to just it's not a test. It's just literally just collecting information, gathering information by observing men's reactions to things. Men's reactions to your anger, men's reactions to your humanity, men's reactions to your own comfort with your humanity, like the fact that you do take craps and you're not going to go to the lobby bathroom and pretend like you don't. Because if you want children with that man you're dating, this is what I hear from mothers. First of all the things that are going to come out of your body, like apparently this is like crazy when you're giving birth. And you're also probably going to take a dump on the literal table or not table, whatever. Apparently you crap while you're giving birth a lot of times. If this man is like, can't even go buy you tampons, you think he can handle baby poop being all over his hands, a piss in his face when it goes awry? You think he can handle you literally having crap all over you? Do you think that man is going to be able to take care of you when you get sick and you're, coughing up blood or have snot rags or whatever? That, like, please do not set yourself up to be not human in your relationship. So the reason why I'm saying all this before, I'm going to get to my story. And I'm actually going to show some beautiful photos of a beautiful place. But one of the most shocking things that I came to realize is just how, like if a man comes to my house, I am not hiding the fact that I have periods. I'm not hiding tampons, remnants of tampons. Obviously, I'm not just going to leave this is before I was using the cup or whatever. By the way, if you have an IUD and you use the cup, please be careful. Mine fell out because of the cup. Please read up on this, okay? It was gone for 2 years and I did not know it. Thank God I was using condoms. Anyway, public service announcement, blah. But women just hiding things from men because this is just so bad. Period. Blood's okay. Period, blood, not okay, right? And to me, as somebody who was raised in purity culture, white purity culture in the South, like schmegs is bad. Women are pure, which is actually deeply tied to white supremacy culture, or particularly anti-blackness. When I made that connection, I was like, okay, yeah. Anything around purity culture that was put in me, I want out. It went out because it is the root of all of this, all of my misery and all of a lot of the misery in the world. Purity culture, blah. Policing women's bodies, and we just police women's bodies in different ways. But me, as a white woman, a pure Southern belle or whatever, a little fragile little flower, right? Fork that. Okay? So being a virgin, not having periods, being pure, being blah, but just also rooted in pedophilia, okay? That's why they're obsessed with borking teenagers. Anyway, part of my own unpacking of all this crap is for me to get real comfortable with my periods, talking about my periods, not hiding my periods, not hiding the fact that I take dumps. You don't have to call it that, obviously. Not, letting myself and actually I wrote about this. I wrote about this for Glamour magazine many years ago when Anthony and I were dating. That I farted on him in my sleep. And I was like, oops, sorry. Because I was still kind of oh, you're not supposed to fart down here. And he, first of all, thought it was funny. And then he was like, no, I love it. That means you're comfortable around me. And I was like, so I want women to start paying attention to men being comfortable with you being a human around them. Men seeing it as a good thing. Not uh-oh. I don't want to be around a man who wants me to perform. And one of the first times I realized it is when when I was living in Spain, I was teaching English. I just moved up-road my whole life. I was dating this French dude. I've talked about him before. He came to visit, and I was actually sick when he came to visit. So when he showed up, I was in my bathrobe, and he was like, oh, look at you in your comfy clothes. I was like, sorry, I look like a little granny right now. Also in my whole I'm older than him. I forget how, I think I was 6 or 7 years older than him, whatever. And he was like, no, I love it. I love seeing comfortable, relaxed Melanie. I love seeing you almost sick because that just means that, you're just you. And I was like, no. So this same boyfriend was the one who made me realize that I need to get more. I mean, I was never really hiding it, but didn't realize how, I love period sex, by the way. I mean, it's it's not it's kind of gross, but I'm usually really horny during that time. And it's a great lubricant. Sorry. TMI. But I remember we had our, it was long distance, so we didn't get to see each other much. And so when I went back to Spain for Christmas break, I went to France to meet him. And then we had a vacation, a little couple's vacation in Malta. Never been there before. I'm going to show you some photos and then I'm going to get to the point of the story. Okay, so this is Malta. It's it's a little island in the Mediterranean. And, it's gorgeous. And I actually want to show this photo because this is the first really cheesy photo I've ever taken, in a relationship. And I'm partly making fun of it because, I'm that's such a whatever. I mean, you kind of get cynical when the only relationship I'd had before this was the man who tried to unalive me. Okay, so I was like, whatever, love, blah. So I was like, let's be cheesy, blah, right? But of course, people, I put this on Facebook or whatever. People are like, oh my God, love, because people love love, right? And, this was, a good, I don't regret this relationship at all. This was the first time anyone ever really treated me really tenderly, who didn't turn violent after that. Like someone who literally just was like so thoughtful, so thoughtful. The reason why this relationship did not work out is because he did not work on himself enough. So I knew he was going to, he sabotaged the relationship, you know? And he knew, he knew that he had lots of stuff from his childhood he had not dealt with. He didn't have friends, which this actually inspired that viral article, Men Have No Friends and Women Bear the Burden. I was like, this is a big problem. Why isn't he, like, I literally talked to my BFF, Liz, who I'm going to go see tomorrow. I'm so excited, my BFF. Everything I filtered through her so that I could have good perspective, and he was not doing the same. So he projected all of his fears onto me instead of filtering them through someone else. Whatever, lots of problems in that relationship. But the beginning of it, the first, 6 months or so, was a really good opportunity for me to, and it's because it was long distance, to understand what a connection was that was based on, like a mind connection, like a soul connection, an emotional connection, because I couldn't see him much. So I couldn't turn it into just like forking all the time, like I always had, right? Like, hypersexual. I had no idea what it was like to be in love and have schmegs with somebody. So, for me to have, check in with someone and really talk things through, and someone who called me on my crap and everything, this was like training wheels for me in terms of how, and even thoughtful presents. Like whenever he gave me gifts, they were so specific to me. I was like, oh, wow, this is different. Anyway, the other thing that he taught me is that me being in my natural state is not gross. Me having a period is not gross, right? So he was totally fine with period schmegs. And I've actually found that a lot of men who are not raised in purity culture don't have a problem with it, right? And I know this goes but whatever. People who follow me are from all over the world. I know there's lots of cultural stuff. There's all kinds of whatever. You do you, boo. I'm just saying that for me, in my experience, a lot of the men who are afraid of period blood, it's because that is based on the assumption that women, Madonna complex, and that women are dirty and we need to be sanitized, and that, if we've had more than one partner, we're ran through. But you can have one partner and fork them every day, and you're not ran through. You're not loose. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense, the logic behind all this crap. And so not only did he make me comfortable with period, he made me comfortable with all of the body stuff, right? But he also made me realize that love and even romance is not okay, because I was just so behind in this. I really didn't know what a romantic relationship was. All I knew was platonic love, because that's what Liz had taught me, shown me. So I was like, oh, it's nice to just cuddle. It's nice to just be touched. It doesn't always have to lead to an O, right? We stayed on the main island, and then we went to the island just north. And this is where Popey Village is, where they shot the movie Popeye with Robin Williams. I actually wrote about it for the Daily Beast. And this is a funny read. It was maybe my second or third one. This was the island up north. I am flaking on the name right this second. Sorry. This was our Airbnb. Look at this. This is me posing. By the way, when the Daily Mail was making fun of me for being a cougar and I was in all these tabloids, they used this photo. They used this, but they went on my Facebook and stole this photo and blasted it all over, being like, this old hag is a cougar, and literally slut shame me with this photo right here. By the way, I hate them. Maybe it was this photo. It was one of the ones where I was laying on the bed, being silly, and they were like, see, she's a hoe. Okay, this was our rooftop of the Airbnb we stayed. And on this rooftop, this is him taking a photo. We had a view of that church. And the reason why I was taking this photo, because he was up on the rooftop, not only taking photo, but drying the period blood sheets. This man had no problem with me being on my period, having schmegs on the period. And even on our last day, when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, because I had not started my period on this particular time until that morning. There was blood all over the sheets. And he's like, I got it, babe. He washed the sheet, which if you've ever washed clothes in Europe, it is not like the US. It takes 4 hours. And then you have to dry them, but air dry. Well, I actually agree with that, especially for the environment. He dried those sheets on the roof, my period blood sheet. Thought Not grossed out by me, my period laundry. Every time I dated a man who proved what I had been told my whole life, that we should expect the bare minimum because men don't know how to talk about their feelings. They can't handle blood. They can't Men who actually treat you like a human being and aren't afraid of your intelligence, aren't afraid of you being better at them at something, aren't like trying to humble you all the time. Like all men who actually treat you like a human being, other men hate that. They are a threat to the patriarchy, right? They are a threat because we're supposed to be grateful that these men aren't just like killing us, right? Those men get, a reward, even though they are like men who don't respect you are in your home. They may never lay a hand on you, but they are slowly unaliving you through stress, your nervous system, autoimmune diseases. They're not abusers. They're good guys. They're nice guys. They're involved fathers. Yeah, right. Okay. In public, maybe. So seeing that a man is capable of actually communicating better than me in a second language. He communicated better. He taught me how to communicate in relationships because he was better at it than me, and he wasn't even speaking his native language. Like, I was like, dang. I learned how to have direct conversations instead of the passive-aggressive crap that I was raised with as a Southern white woman, right? He taught me to accept my own humanity more because I've been so indoctrinated with purity culture. I didn't even see it was still there. He taught me what thoughtfulness I'm actually more of a dude a lot of times because I've always been a tomboy, and also I just went really far the other way to be like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be like whatever. And I was a lone wolf. I was like, whatever. Oh, I don't need that. And so when I meet men, and my husband's like this, who are very in touch with their emotions, who communicate very well, who are very thoughtful, they actually teach me a lot. And when I meet men like that, I'm like, oh, they're all lying. They're all lying. It is not weird for a man to accept that you fart and you crap and you bleed. It is not rare. Or maybe it's like, it's hard to find, but it is normal. They want it to be abnormal so that men don't have to do it. But it is actually, men can love you, communicate, be thoughtful, be the nurturers, do laundry, period laundry, not be afraid of your blood. They can, and a lot of them do. And those men threaten other men. And those men threaten the entire system because boys will be boys, and boys are just like this, and men are dumb. After dating him, I realized it's all a lie. I will never settle in a serious relationship. I have my little boy toys and like situationships, blah. But if I'm ever going to seriously date someone, I will never settle for anyone who does anything less than that man. So, men taught me what I didn't want, like to be, graped, almost drone over a cliff. Like the bad experiences taught me what I did not want. But every time I dated a man who shocked me in a good way, it set the bar higher. And my friends who dated men who were like treated them well and had all the things that we were told men just can't do, they set the bar. So even if it's not your own experiences, if you have friends, if you know women who are married to men who are not like all these other men, that is your gold standard. They can do it. They can do it. And if they're not doing it, it's because they don't want to. It may take time, but if they're not doing it, it's because they don't care enough to change and they don't want to. So any man who can't handle a little here and a little blood there, that man is so below. Like that man has so much growing to do. You're going to have to teach that man so much. Is it really worth your time? Because literally him just seeing you as a human puts him at 0. And a lot of the men are not even there. They're like, no, she's not human. And so anyone who follows me, not only look for that if you date men, but don't play into the perpetuating this idea that we're not human and we shouldn't do that stuff. It's so exhausting performing femininity. It's so exhausting. I want men to see me in my relaxed, comfortable state. Not, God, I grew up around that, and it feels like a betrayal. It feels like a betrayal to have something operating within you that's making you perform instead of being in your relaxed, natural state where you're in touch with your feelings, your intuition, your body. I don't want to perform anymore. I'm too old, man. I'm tired. And performing is what they want us to do. No, unless you pay me. That's called an actress, and actresses make money from performing. The rest of us, we don't get anything out of performing. I mean, other than like surviving under patriarchy. But in your close relationships, you should not have to perform. And you really can't keep it up. You are going to fart in front of him one day. You are going to take a dump while delivering a child if that's what you end up doing. You don't, out of the gate, don't perform. Be you. And if he can't handle you out of the gate as a human being, he doesn't deserve you. He doesn't deserve anyone, because you can't love someone that you don't see their humanity. They can't love you if they can't see your humanity. And farting and dumping is part of your humanity.